So hey everyone, it's Trevor Turnbull here with SportFan Connect, and I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina with Kathleen Hessert from Sports Media Challenge. Beautiful city.
Say that with some enthusiasm.
It's a beautiful city. It's been raining the last couple of days, so we can't really say, but it's going to be nice today.
Yes.
So. But thanks for taking some time here. I know you have a really busy schedule, but I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. Obviously, with our trip here, we've been touring around and meeting with fans and teams, executives of those teams, talking about social media. And to date, every team that we've been meeting has been the big professional leagues. So Major League Baseball, NHL, NFL. And we're actually on our way to South Carolina today to go meet with a East Coast Hockey League team, the South Carolina Stingrays. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on how the different leagues, professional leagues, semi-pro leagues, college leagues, are approaching social media, and maybe just get your thoughts on some of the stories that you've come across and how they're embracing social media and what the differences might be.
Mm-hmm. Well, bottom line is the semi-pro or the minor leagues and the lesser-known college programs, they have to be more creative. They don't have as much money, and they've been forced through their whole culture to be more creative because traditional media hasn't covered them in the same way, with the same volume, the same propensity as the major sports or major teams as such. So I find that because they have less money, and social media costs less money to actually institute and do well, and because they've been forced to be creative, they haven't gotten so comfortable, in, hey, we're the big guys, that the, say, second tier, lesser known programs actually have adopted social media with much more enthusiasm and I think vigor, to tell you the truth, than the major programs.
And when you say adopting, you mean just they're engaging in it more, where they're opening up to that two-way conversation versus what, say, professional teams are doing? I know a lot of the stuff that we've seen is that they're just broadcasting messages as opposed to listening to what the fans have to say and responding to those questions.
Well, I will tell you that there is the Southern Conference in NCAA 3 years ago had me in speaking about social media, and they wanted to listen to what the fans were saying so that they could improve their championships. So, they listen as much as they can. They're trying to find new ways to listen. We have our Buzz Manager service. Right now, it's major conferences and it's major athletic programs and pro teams and so on who are using Buzz Manager to monitor what we call fan-generated media, social media and traditional media, to find out what the public is saying about their brand on a 24/7 basis. To really listen well, to be able to make social media work, you've got to listen deeply, you've got to listen broadly, and you've got to listen in a way that you're looking for the important information. You can't just pick it up and leave it every now and then. You can't just go to the most obvious sites, discussion boards or blogs and say, all right, we got it. We know what they're saying about us, because they're the only ones who are important to us. Because quite frankly, the discussions go well beyond the most obvious places. We say, find, listen, engage, and lead. Find where they're talking about you. Then listen to what they're saying. Listen deeply, broadly, regularly, consistently, so you can really identify the trends. Then you have the right, after you become a part of the community, to engage and to lead those fans, those influencers, convert them into advocates or evangelists. So, it's, some listen, they have a intern, a GA, a graduate assistant, poking in some Twitter accounts and some discussion boards periodically. But I find that everybody needs to listen better, and when they listen better, then they'll understand the intelligence that comes from the social media that can help them build their brands better, protect their brands, expand their brands, etc.
And obviously, that's the idea of diving into social media is somewhat intimidating for all of these teams, leagues, conferences, everything. So what other services does your company offer as far as being able to kind of take footsteps in that direction without totally jumping in? You mentioned Buzz Manager, the monitoring service, but you guys also do some training as well and strategy?
We do training, we do strategy. I would step back even further, and we offer social media audits, and I think those are really vital to getting a true foundation. You know, where do you stand in social media? Where are your strengths? Where are your weaknesses? Just because you have a Facebook account or just because you have a Twitter account or accounts doesn't mean you do it well. I often say that experience does not equate to expertise. There's a lot of poorly executed social media out there, but social media audits, when they're done well, tell you where your strengths and your weaknesses are. Actually identify the influencers in the most important communities that you need to be building relationships with, and also benchmark you against your competitors so that you have a baseline for what kind of social media works, what might be best practices, and where you need to go to compete and to win. And so the social media audits, the Buzz Manager, strategy development. We're doing a lot of social media guideline development for organizations so they know, so they can guide their own people to what is good and what is bad. And there's a lot of debate about guidelines. Should there be guidelines for social media? Well, heck, of course there is. You don't want somebody talking about your brand without any kind of guidelines. You don't jump into something new. Too many organizations treat social media in trivial ways. They think it's a game. It's not a game. It is a powerful, influential branding tool and channel that needs to be integrated with everything else. And when you learn to do it right, to do that, to teach your people, and education is a big component, as you and I have talked about many times, but having some guidelines is a great place to start. So if you have an audit, then you have guidelines created in terms of the strategy, and then we educate. We're doing a webinar this week with Conference USA, and they're providing it to their members because they understand that they need to educate their member schools on how to do it well, not just how to do it. And what's really, really cool is we're not doing social media 101. We're doing social media 2.0.
Oh,
nice. We're moving ahead. It's not, it's not a matter of saying why you should do it anymore. Our education with Conference USA is how do you do it well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do you take it that next step?
Well, I love speaking about this topic, obviously, and especially with people that are passionate about it. And you obviously have that passion, clearly. So how can people find you? Obviously, you are on the road a lot, and the next month is no different.
Crazy. We have the Pound 140 conference, the Twitter Global Conference in LA that I'm heading up the sports panel for. We've got the Blog World and New Media Expo, where we're doing a case study on ESPN and their social media engagement. The best place to get me, if you're on Twitter, my Twitter username is Kathleen Hessert, so you just do @Kathleen Hessert on Twitter. And other than that, it's khessert@sportsmediachallenge.com. We're in Charlotte, North Carolina, although, as Trevor said, I'm rarely there. And our number is 704-541-5942. So lots of ways to get to us. You can also go to sportsmediachallenge.com, our website, and our blog, which is the Buzz Manager blog on blogspot.com.
Excellent. Well, thanks very much for your time again.
Sure.
And like I say, we're heading to South Carolina, and the rain seems to be following us, so you should have a very beautiful day here in Charlotte, and we'll take it with us. So,
enjoy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.